director of the Hub City Writers Project. Books as Mirrors seeks to seed public school libraries with diverse and inclusive books.
We knew that we wanted to start with elementary schools just because of that age group, but we decided on the schools by looking at their percentage of free or reduced lunch, so this would tell us which schools had the most need.
We have a very diverse student body. We are a Title I school. All of our students qualify for free and reduced lunch, and so there are some issues as far as being high poverty.
Some of our kids are basic middle class families and others are struggling, or even some kind of in transition or almost homeless.
We are an inner city school. We have 99% poverty rate.
Our students are very diverse. We have all walks of life. Unfortunately, we do have lower student achievement in literacy than we would like to see. So we wanted to make sure that our books represented our student body.
We have a large percent of African Americans, but we also have a lot of Hispanic students. Unless you really try to cater your collection to those children, a lot of publishers, if you just sort of use their cut and paste recommends, you won't end up with a lot of that stuff. A surprisingly large number of books are actually featuring protagonists that are animals instead of people, let alone people of color.
Some of the topics range from disabilities, range from homelessness and poverty. They talk about diverse families, and it's just about a reflection of the United States.
Well, I think our students are so insulated because they don't get out of the community very often, and they don't have a chance to see what things and people are like in other places.
Our overall goal this year, as far as our collection, is to ramp up, so to speak, our picture books. We have a little bit older collection, so I wanted to kind of update the average copyright, as well as still remaining and retaining the classics, of course.
I think the average age of the collection was 2005. It is very much the older format of a book where the characters are not diverse.
Well, we were missing a lot of books that are current titles. There's so many children's books out now that really are just celebrating children of all different varieties.
So I tried to err on the side of first and second grade being able to read them just as well as third, fourth, and fifth, so everyone in the school could have access to them instead of just a few kids.
I wanted to have books where students could see positive representations of themselves, and I think this grant really helped me identify what stories were available and things that might appeal to my students.
I think it's important that the children read the books and see people that have had other experiences, and that maybe they can say, hey, I could do that.
But we were reading a book recently, and the author talked about how when he was growing up, or she, there just weren't that many books that they looked at to reflect themselves, and how that kind of made them become a reader later in life.
You want students to feel connection, and that connection, it helps them to build compassion for others, but also to feel comfortable in their own skin, to be happy about who they are, to kind of live vicariously through the characters that are working through things, so that they know that they can work through things too. Then teachers are excited to be able to put the right book in a child's hand. We are always talking about engagement, that if students can see themselves in a book and connect to a book, then they're more likely to read it.
I want to promote these because I think sometimes teachers, they're not always aware of the newest titles coming out, and this will be a way for them to see some new diverse stories and maybe make those favorites in their classroom.
I think it's just really important in those formative years for kids to see lots of different people that look like them but who may or may not be anything like them. Everyone that they grow up with, those are not the only people that live on this planet. Otherwise, we're allowing them to risk growing up without any image of who they can become at all.
Because I will be able to read the diverse books to the students so that everybody in the classroom will be able to see different cultures, different environments.
I don't think every book featuring an African American female student as the protagonist should be about them being African American. I think people want to just have it be, and at some point, you want to sort of say, well, there's more to our culture than just that.
I think the students will be excited to see a lot of new books come in, and that they'll be able to see stories that they can relate to.
I feel like the best thing that we can do for our kids and their future is to support them.
This year, we were generously supported by Women Giving for Spartanburg. They gave us a grant that allowed us to seed our first 6 schools. And so each book is given a book plate that has the Women Giving for Spartanburg with it, along with our Books as Mirrors logo.
We are hoping that, we will have enough funding to ultimately seed every public school library all the way up. So we start elementary schools, we will move on to the middle schools and junior highs, and then ultimately to the high schools.
This age is such a crucial age to get them to love reading. So once they have that love of reading, then they will be able to do great things. They'll have that love of reading by seeing themselves in the pages.
And we need folks to invest in our children. We really see this as a practical matter, not just teaching children to read for pleasure, but the adage is learning to read so you can read to learn, and that is what the objective here is.
If we're able to get those kids to like reading and to enjoy it, there's no stopping them.
And so we're all working in it together. It's a wonderful community, and we just think that we would really like to have the most literate county of all of South Carolina, and if we can spread the love beyond the borders, we aim to do so.